this round table doesn't actually change in this room. So if I take my perspective here and create a box, this time I'm going to draw an ellipse into this box, but again I'm going to use a horizontal, so I'm going to come here and find the center, but I'm going to make sure that my ellipse is widest on the horizontal, because a cylinder has a center line that goes down through the middle of it and that lines these ellipses up so that these are all set on a center line. These ellipses are lined up at a 90 degree to that, right? When that tips over, this ellipse should go 90 degrees to that, and this should go 90 degrees to that, so the ellipse will do this. But any ellipse, anything that sits on a flat surface, so whether that's a light fixture in the ceiling, or whether that's a pan on a stove, or whether that's a cup on a table, is going to sit with a horizontal ellipse, whether it's in 1 point or 2 point. So if I put a cup on a table here in 2 point, I'm going to use a horizontal ellipse to set it onto this table. And if I were to put a cup in this drawing that I made in the 1 point and set it on this table, I would use a horizontal ellipse as well, because the center line of that is going vertical. And the top and the bottom of the cup have to sit at a 90 degree angle to that vertical. Alright, so always use a horizontal guideline to place a cup or a saucer, or a table or a pan or a plate, or a manhole cover or a light fixture in the ceiling if it's on the horizontal. Alright, so this table is going to be widest along this axis. I can take this center line and I can go towards vanishing point right and towards vanishing point left. That'll tell me where these axes touch, right? So this ellipse should touch here and here. It should touch here and here, and then it should come in. It's not going to touch these corners, it's going to actually come in this way and this way. Now if that doesn't look horizontal and I say this quadrant here isn't the same as that quadrant there, I need to make this a little bit rounder, then that ellipse will look better. Then I'm going to take tangent lines here down to the floor, get myself a horizontal line here, and draw another ellipse on the floor. I'm going to draw the thickness of the top of the table. I'm going to draw the thickness of the board on the floor. This time I want to understand that this gap here that we drew in between the legs is going to be either on the right or the left. So I can draw it through this way, or I can draw it through this way, it doesn't matter. But notice I'm going down here to my footprint to figure that out. So come down here to the footprint, and let's say we're going to sit them on this axis. So I'm going to have a board coming here, and a board coming here, and they're going to create a little gap there so that this comes all the way to the floor, and this comes all the way to the floor, creating that gap in between. So then that board's going to come up this way. This board's going to come up that way. This then is going to come over towards vanishing point right, where there's going to be another board coming up this way till it hits this ring up here. And this is going to come towards vanishing point right and come up this way, so that this goes vanishing point right and down. So now I'm showing 1, 2, 3 lines. I have the side of my board and the front of my board, right? I'm going to keep these here lightly because I'm going to use them later. This should be erased. And right here, I should go off towards vanishing point right and show the side, the right side of that board. So I'm showing the front of it and the right side of it. I'm going to say this is the front looking towards vanishing point right. And then this ring should come around this way, right? So I'm seeing the top of the ring and the front of the ring there. Let's figure that out in here. This is going to be a little bit tricky. Lots of fun. So this comes over here. This point hits right there. We're going to have a board come there. So we're going to come this direction and up, and then this direction and up, and this direction and up. So I've drawn the board that sits over here. I'm going to skinny it up just a little bit because it needs to be smaller than this one, right? Now, if I come up to here where this ring is going to hit, then the inside of this is going to hit the inside of that right there. So I'm going to come right here and right here and say this is the inside of the ring coming out there. Then I'm going to go off to vanishing point right across here and show the top of the ring sitting right there. It's like a little puzzle. This is really fun to figure out. Complicated, but once you get it, you're going to be really happy and satisfied with your drawing because it shows some detail in there. Look at that detail. This is going to vanishing point right. This is going to vanishing point left. This is going straight up and down. This is coming around. This is what's going to happen. These two lines here, this is the top and this is the top. So this line here has to meet that line there. So I'm going to connect those two. With that ellipse understanding, I'm going to connect those two. I'm going to erase some stuff in here that's confusing me. Now I know this comes around until it gets to the outside of that ellipse and then goes straight up and down. So these are going to disappear here on a vertical because that vertical and this vertical are going to diminish that. And then this, I'm going to see this come and connect right to there. And remember how last time we said like a ribbon where this disappears into that, then this should also disappear on the other side of it and show something like that. When I first started doing that, I thought, wow, this is going to be tough to figure out. But isn't it nice when you get something worked out that's that hard and that complicated? And it actually functions. We're ready to do this other side now. This is going to come looping this direction and then go straight down and connect over there. So we're not going to see a fourth line over there. We only need the three of them to show the side of that. And this is going to come over here. This needs to come across this way and connect to this. So this is going to be here and go to vanishing point right and come down this way. And we're going to come up to here. This has got to start the loop around there. And this is going to be the front side of that. And then where this would come up here, we come across back to vanishing point right, and that would show the top of that. So again, I have three lines here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I'm showing the top of it, and I'm showing the front of it. It's going to come around here. So how are these guys going to connect? Let's see. This is the outside ring is going to connect to this here. This inside ring I don't believe I'm going to see there, but I need to have it here. And then this ring that hits the floor I need to have there. So again, I've got 1, 2, 3, so I'm showing that. This is being covered up by that, so I'm only going to have, well, I do show the top and the front of that in there. So I believe that drawing is pretty much okay. I do look at it now and I notice that this is a wonky ellipse. See how this is pinched here, how this is quite flat on this edge? So I think I want to fix that so my drawing feels more like this ellipse here is a nice round. Remember how we talked about how to draw this with a loose? Yeah, that feels better, doesn't it? Drop this down here, pull this across, and let these guys come up till they meet it. Great. Sort of get my eraser in there, straighten my lines out a little bit so I understand what I'm doing.